Welcome to Shorty SuperCoach and welcome to the weekend preview. And it's fair to say there's a reasonable amount of carnage going on in the SuperCoach world. Not only do we have to deal with the buys, but we've been hit hard with some suspensions, some injuries, some untimely issues. But while it may seem like it's all come together as a shocking little storm, I would have to say we probably couldn't have asked for better timing to cop some of these shocking injuries. Now, obviously the buys aren't ideal, but clearly the second and third buy rounds are going to be the toughest. This first one, only 4 teams missing, and I don't think too many of them absorb a stack of our players. There's obviously a few at the Hawks and things like that, but not a great deal. Now, look, there's Fife out suspended, that's well documented. Laird will miss, Cornelio will miss, Tim Smith's been dropped, Jordan Ridley is out, Dustin Martin is out. There's probably a couple others that I haven't either mentioned or haven't even been finalised with the extended benches. But the reason I say it couldn't happen at a better time is because we do only have to field or have 18 scoring players. Now, on any other given week, we would have had to reach deep into our bench coverage, and sometimes that, at this stage of the season, is not what we would like, and certainly not good scorers. And in the other 2 buy rounds where we only need 18 scorers, we would have really need all of those other players playing, because we would have quite a number of guys out from simply missing with the buy. This time around, it will be a fair bit painful because, you know, we have a little bit of buy, which will hurt a little bit, but on top of that, we have an extensive injury list and a lot of players missing. The midfield will be hit hard. You know, Fife, Mitchell, Cripps, Cornelio, Martin, no doubt will be hit pretty hard, but I haven't even looked at my side as to how many I will be putting on the field. I don't anticipate a trade. The only trade I might look to do would be to potentially free up some coin to really make an assault at some upgrades throughout the buy rounds. I'm looking at bringing in Simpson upon his return from the buy. Hurley won't be far off, and I'm still sort of searching as to who might be my 6th forward upgrade. So, look, my advice to you is really just assess it on yourself. I mean, I can sit here and say what you could do, but the buy rounds more than ever are so dependent on your own individual team. I would like to think most people should hold fire. I think most people should be able to get through this week with 18, 19, maybe 20 scorers, you know, something like that. And if you've got that, I don't think there's any need to trade unless you are following a plan and you need some money for next week. But I always think this first buy round is a good one to not make any trades, because the second and third rounds give you an opportunity to miss a donut. Now, what I mean by that is if you fielded your side throughout the buys and didn't trade anyone, you would cop 30 zeros. What trading and smart trading can do through the buys is, you know, trading won't help you in this first week to avoid a zero, because eventually anyone you trade in is going to have it. But after this first week, you can potentially trade in a Cade Simpson and trade out a guy who's about to have a buy. Therefore, you'd only have 29 zeros across the course of the buys. And then the next week, you might want to make a couple of trades. You might trade out a couple of guys who have that final buy round and trade in a couple of guys who've already had them. Therefore, it brings you down to 27. Now, it's only marginal, but clearly, if we can save 3 to 4 zeros that we don't need to have, then that can be really, really beneficial. And I would also advise, if you can field more than 18, it's extremely valuable. Now, I'm not saying, you know, sell the farm and trade out unnecessary players to do that, but if you are umming and ahhing, or you just think like you know, maybe you could, do I do it now? The value of having more than the 18 can't be understated, because what it does is it takes into account your top 18 scorers. So therefore, you could have a rookie who scores 44, you know, someone gets injured, they only score 16. If you've got 20 guys playing, then all of a sudden those scores don't count. So that's where it can be really, really important. You know, there'll probably be, most teams will field a full lineup with the 18 players this week. But the difference in how you go might be in the fact whether you field 19 or 21, because in essence, it gives you a little bit of a safety net for, you know, your 2 worst scorers, your 3 worst scorers to not count. So that's something to keep in mind when you're attacking these buys. But on Shorty's World, I'm moving into my new house over the weekend, so, you know, this pod has been a little bit more just, you know, off the bat. I quickly looked at the teams before, so there's not too much specifics about it, but some of you may know, I bought a house in Geelong, so it's all ready and all built, so we're getting stuck into it over the next couple of days. So fair to say there's a little bit of packing and a little bit of planning, so looking forward to it. But yeah, I don't think my SuperCoach side's going to go overly well this week. I'll need a little bit of luck because I'll be hit pretty hard, so fingers crossed. But anyway, we'll see how we go. So thanks for tuning in, guys. Hopefully you have a reasonable week in SuperCoach, and I'm off to watch a bit of the French Open. Cheers.